She said, "If you don't like my friend's rude jokes, you can just pay and leave." I said, "Thanks for the option." Then I stood up, took my car keys, and walked out of the restaurant. She thought I was joking until her friend's laughter died when they realized I had just paid for my meal only. I, 29, male, just walked out of what was supposed to be a celebration dinner. And I'm sitting in my car processing what just happened. My girlfriend Jessica Morgan, 28 of 3 years, just gave me the perfect out and I took it. Quick background. Jessica Morgan and I have been together since we met at a friend's housewarming. She was funny, ambitious, worked as a marketing coordinator. We clicked instantly. Moved in together after 18 months. Everything was mostly good except for one thing, her friend group. Her core group consists of 3 women she's known since college. Emily Johnson, 29F, Sarah Davis, 28F, and Rachel Lee, 27F. They're intense. Always been a bit much, but lately they've gotten worse. They make these jokes about me constantly. Started small comments about my job. I'm an electrician, my hobbies, I restore old motorcycles, my clothes. I brushed it off initially because Jessica Morgan would laugh along. But tell me privately she didn't mean it. Tonight was Jessica Morgan's promotion celebration. She just got bumped up to senior marketing coordinator. I was genuinely proud. Suggested we all go to this nice steakhouse downtown. My treat for the whole table. Wanted to do something special for her. Everything started fine. Drinks, appetizers, everyone chatting. Then Emily Johnson started. "So David Miller's still playing with wires for a living? Must be nice having such a simple job. Not much thinking required, right?" I smiled. Actually, electrical work requires quite a bit of problem solving. "And oh, please," Sarah Davis cut in. "It's not like you need a degree. Jessica Morgan here's killing it in corporate, while you're what's that thing you do with the bikes?" "I restore vintage motorcycles. Just finished a 1978 Honda. How much money do you waste on those rust buckets?" Rachel Lee laughed. "Jessica Morgan, girl, you could do so much better. Remember Thomas Parker from the conference? Now he had ambition." I looked at Jessica Morgan. She was smiling, shaking her head like, "Oh, you guys. Not defending me, not even slightly." The jokes continued through dinner. Everything from my grease monkey hobbies to how I probably couldn't understand Jessica Morgan's complex marketing strategies to Emily Johnson actually saying I was lucky Jessica Morgan was willing to date down. The final straw was when Sarah Davis said, "Honestly, Jessica Morgan, when are you going to upgrade? David Miller's sweet, but come on. You're executive material and he's well." I set down my fork. "Jessica Morgan," she sighed. "David Miller, they're just joking around." "It doesn't feel like joking. Oh my God, he's so sensitive." Rachel Lee laughed. "What? Going to cry because we hurt your feelings?" I stayed calm. I'm not comfortable with this. That's when Jessica Morgan said it. Looked me dead in the eye and said, "Look, if you don't like my friend's rude jokes, you can just pay and leave." The table went quiet for a second. Then Emily Johnson started giggling. She really said it. "Thanks for the option," I said, standing up. I pulled out my wallet, did quick math for my meal plus tip, and put cash on the table. "This covers mine." Jessica Morgan rolled her eyes. "David Miller, sit down. Don't be dramatic." I picked up my teas. "Enjoy your celebration dinner." The laughter started as I walked away. I heard Sarah Davis say, "He'll be back in 5 minutes. Watch." I didn't go back. Made it to my car and sat there for a few minutes. My phone started blowing up about 10 minutes later. First, Jessica Morgan, very funny. Come back and pay the bill. Then, David Miller, this isn't cute anymore. Then, are you serious right now? I drove home. More texts flooded in. Apparently, reality hit when the server brought the check. It was close to $400 for the whole table. They'd ordered expensive steaks, multiple cocktails, desserts, and I'd only left $60 for my meal and tip. Jessica Morgan called 15 times on my drive home. I didn't answer. When I pulled into our apartment complex, she'd already left 3 voicemails, escalating from annoyed to furious. I'm going inside now to pack some things. Not sure what happens next, but I'm done being the punchline. Update 1. Didn't sleep much? Crashed at my buddy Thomas Parker's place after grabbing some clothes and toiletries from the apartment. The text assault continued all night. Jessica Morgan, I can't believe you humiliated me like that. My friends think you're pathetic. You left me with a $400 bill? This is so embarrassing. You need to Venmo me right now. Answer your phone? Around 2 a.m., her friends joined in. Emily Johnson sent a long paragraph about how I'm financially abusive for tricking them into thinking I'd pay. Sarah Davis called me a petty loser. Rachel Lee sent a Venmo request for $100 with the note for emotional damages. I blocked all 4 of them and tried to get some sleep. This morning, woke up to knocking on Thomas Parker's door. It was Jessica Morgan. Thomas Parker, absolute legend, told her I wasn't there. She didn't buy it. I know he's in there. His truck is outside. Thomas Parker, haven't seen him. Maybe he parked here and Ubered somewhere. She stood there for 20 minutes, alternating between pounding on the door and calling my blocked number. Eventually, she left, but not before yelling, "This is so childish, David Miller. You can't just run away from your responsibilities." My responsibilities? I paid for my food. That was my only responsibility. Thomas Parker made coffee and we talked. He's been saying for months that Jessica Morgan's friends were toxic and she enables them. Bro, remember when they joked about your mom's accent at your birthday dinner? Or when they said your sister's wedding was cute for a budget event? You deserve better. He's right. I've been making excuses for too long. Around 10 o'clock. Started getting calls from unknown numbers. Finally answered one. It was Jessica Morgan calling from her work phone. David Miller, we need to talk. Okay, talk. Not over the phone? Come home, I'm good. You're being ridiculous. So you got your feelings hurt? My friends were just having fun. You embarrassed me in front of everyone and stuck me with the bill. I paid for my meal, Jessica Morgan. You told me I could pay and leave. I took your suggestion. I didn't think you'd actually leave. Who does that? Someone who's tired of being disrespected. She switched tactics. Baby, please. I'm sorry. They went too far. Come home and we'll talk. Just can you please send me money for last night? I had to put the whole thing on my credit card. No. You invited us out to celebrate your promotion. Then your friends spent the entire dinner insulting me while you sat there laughing. I'm not paying for that experience. This is insane. You can't just... I hung up. She started calling from other numbers. I stopped answering. But then something interesting happened. Got a text from an unknown number. Hey, this is Rachel Lee's boyfriend. Michael Brown. Just wanted to say I heard what happened and good for you, man. They've been talking trash about you for years. Rachel Lee showed me the texts and honestly, you did the right thing. They're all at Jessica Morgan's place right now, plotting some kind of revenge. Just thought you should know. Revenge for what? For not being there personal. ATM, going to lay low at Thomas. Parker's for a few more days while I figure out next steps. The lease is in both our names, but I pay majority of rent, naturally. Going to need to deal with that soon. What kills me is not once has Jessica Morgan actually apologized for her friend's behavior or acknowledged how messed up it was. It's all about the money and her embarrassment. Update 2. Well, the revenge materialized. It's both pathetic and infuriating. First, some good news. Went by the apartment while Jessica Morgan was at work to grab more stuff. Found a notice on the door. Noise complaint from Monday night. Apparently, her strategy session with the mean girls. Club got loud enough that multiple neighbors complained. That's going on our rental record. Great. Inside the place was a disaster. Multiple wine bottles everywhere. Food containers on the counter. My PlayStation mysteriously missing. Found it hidden in her closet later. But the real kicker, She'd gone through my toolbox and sold several of my specialty electrical tools on Facebook Marketplace. Found the listings through a mutual friend. My Klein voltage tester kit 300s, Fluke multimeter $400, and several other pieces, all priced to sell fast. I screenshot everything. Then I noticed something else. She'd been in my project room. The 1978 Honda CB75 I've been restoring. She'd listed it on Craigslist. Mechanic special. Needs work. $2,000. Oboe must go. ASAP, that bike is worth at least $6 in its current state. Probably $1,000 when I'm done. And it's not even hers to sell. I called the police non-emergency line, explained the situation. They said since we live together, it's complicated, but selling someone else's property without permission is theft. They suggested I document everything and file a report. While I was taking photos, got a text from my landlord. David Miller, need to talk to you about the lease. Jessica Morgan called saying you abandoned the apartment and she wants you off the lease. Also received noise complaint. Please call me. Called him immediately. Mr. Chun's been my landlord for 3 years. Good guy, explained the situation. She says you moved out and won't pay rent anymore? I've been gone 3 days because of a domestic situation. I'm not abandoning anything. In fact, I'm in the apartment right now. She made it sound like you'd been gone for weeks. Look, between you and me, I'd rather keep you as a tenant. You've never been late on rent. Never had complaints until now. If you want to take over the lease solo, I'm open to that. What about her? She'd need to agree to be removed or you'd both need to break the lease. But David Miller, that noise complaint is a problem. One more and I'll have grounds for eviction. Interesting. After documenting everything, I removed my bike from the apartment. Took it to Thomas Parker's garage. Also grabbed all my valuable tools that hadn't been sold yet. Left anything we bought together, took only what was mine before the relationship. That evening, Jessica Morgan came home to find me loading the last box into my truck. What are you doing? Moving my things to a safe location since you're selling them without my permission. I needed money to pay for that dinner you walked out on. So, you stole my tools? It's not stealing. We live together. What's yours is mine. That's not how anything works, Jessica Morgan. She stood there in her workload, arms crossed. Behind her, I could see Emily Johnson's car pulling up. Of course, you're not seriously ending our relationship over one dinner. It's not about one dinner. It's about 3 years of your friends disrespecting me while you enabled them. It's about you literally telling me to leave if I didn't like it. It's about you stealing from me when I took you at your word. Emily Johnson got out of her car. Oh good, the loser's here. David Miller, you owe Jessica Morgan $400. I kept loading my truck. No, I don't. Yes, you do. You invited everyone out and then paid for my portion when I was told to leave, which I did. Emily Johnson looked at Jessica Morgan. I told you he was too proud. Blue-collar guys always have fragile egos. I laughed. Actually laughed. My ego's fine. My boundaries are just finally clear. Loaded the last box, closed the truck. Jessica Morgan grabbed my arm. David Miller, please, let's talk about this. We are talking. I'm telling you, I'm done. I'll deal with the lease this week. I suggest you find a roommate. Maybe one of your friends since they're so successful and ambitious. You're really throwing away 3 years. No, you did that. I'm just refusing to subsidize it anymore. Drove away with them both staring. Felt like a weight had been lifted. That night she tried calling from various numbers again. Finally left a voicemail. You're right, okay, my friends were out of line, but you didn't have to be so cruel about it. Please come home. We can work this out. I love you. Too little, too late. Final update time for the conclusion of this ridiculous saga. After I moved my stuff out, filed a police report for the stolen tools with the screenshots of her, Facebook Marketplace posts, and my receipts. It was pretty straightforward. The officer said they'd follow up with her. Met with Mr. Chun about the lease. Jessica Morgan refused to be removed, thinking she had leverage. She didn't realize I'd been documenting everything. See, turns out selling stolen goods online leaves quite a trail. Also, turns out that when you have 3 noise complaints in 2 weeks, yeah, she kept having her friends over for support. Violate the lease terms about unauthorized sales of another tenant's property, and harass other tenants. She'd been bothering Thomas Parker, asking where I was. The landlord has options. Mr. Chun served her with a cure or quick notice. She had 3 days to remedy the lease violations or face eviction proceedings. Suddenly, she was very interested in being removed from the lease. But here's where it gets beautiful. Remember Michael Brown, Rachel Lee's boyfriend? He reached out again. Turns out he was sick of Rachel Lee's behavior too. The final straw. She'd been making fun of him to Jessica Morgan and the others, calling him practice boyfriend until she found someone better. He dumped her and moved out of their shared place the same week. Then the dominoes started falling. Without Michael Brown paying half her rent, Rachel Lee couldn't afford her apartment. She tried moving in with Jessica Morgan. But remember that cure or quick notice? Having unauthorized occupants would violate it. Sarah Davis's situation imploded when her boyfriend saw the texts she'd sent me, demanding money. He realized if she was this entitled with me, what was she like with him? They're on a break now. Emily Johnson, the ringleader, lost her job. Not because of this drama, but because she'd been spending hours on social media talking trash about various people, including co-workers. HR finally had enough. Without a job, she couldn't keep up with her lifestyle. Meanwhile, I found a great 1-bedroom apartment closer to work. Rent's actually cheaper. Been focusing on my bike restoration. Should have it completed by spring. Even picked up some side electrical work that's paying well. Yesterday got one last text from Jessica Morgan. She's moving back in with her parents. The friend group apparently imploded when money got tight and they started turning on each other. Rachel Lee blamed Jessica Morgan for ruining everything by dating down. Sarah Davis accused Emily Johnson of being a bad influence. Emily Johnson said they were all ungrateful. I see now how toxic they were. Her text said, "I should have stood up for you. I'm sorry. Is there any chance we could try again?" I didn't respond. There's nothing to say. Thomas Parker helped me move into my new place last weekend. As we were carrying boxes, he said something that stuck with me. "Bro, you didn't just dodge a bullet. You dodged a whole firing squad." He's right. Oh, and the best part, I ran into Michael Brown at a sports bar last week. We grabbed a beer, compared notes on our exes. Turns out we have a lot in common. Both blue-collar guys who are dating women who thought they were settling. We're planning to hang out again this weekend. Might check out a motorcycle show. Sometimes the best revenge isn't elaborate. Sometimes it's just refusing to be anyone's meal ticket or punching bag. They wanted me to pay. Well, they're all paying now, just not in the way they expected. My mom called me yesterday, said I sounded happier than I have in years. She's right. I am. Funny how much lighter you feel when you stop carrying people who don't respect you.